Hello, everybody. Xavius Gayden, IFBB Men's Physique Pro. And again, I am here at the NPC USA Championships with Mr. Jim Manion. And we're going to talk a little bit about the growth of the NPC and IFBB. So we'll get right into it.
How you doing, Xavius?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Mr.
I like
this. So do I.
So yeah, we've really expanded. Obviously, the NPC is well known in the United States. We're the biggest amateur organization in the world, and now we've expanded worldwide. So we're now doing events we have 152 events internationally, where we run NPC Worldwide and IFBB Professional League. So we've even had shows in Mongolia this year, all the way in Nepal, believe it or not, China, India. So what we try to do is the same kind of setup and the same organization we're doing here in the States with the NPC. We're trying to do this worldwide, like in Brazil. Tamer Gayden, who's the promoter of this show, runs all of Brazil for us, setting up regional events to qualify to go into the pro events. Same kind of thing you went through when you had to qualify to get to the USA or national. So it's been an unbelievable year. I mean, we've grown. Last year we started internationally. We had 52 contests. This year we're at 163. And I've kind of cut it down because it's almost getting saturated. But the growth of the sport is because we've had so many different divisions. Obviously, as you know, we started men's physique, which you're in. We started bikini a few years back. We have a new division coming out called wellness. Wellness is huge in South America, Italy, anywhere Latino communities, Miami. So we feel that's going to be our next big division is going to be the wellness division.
Yeah, I've noticed that it seemed like the wellness division is already taking off. I've seen some of the shows that were put on. I think it was Brazil.
Yeah, well, what we're doing right now, we're doing kind of almost what we did with men's physique. It's put on as an exhibition. But starting next year, it's going to be part of the NPC, part of the IFBB Pro League. And towards the end of the year, after we develop some pros through pro qualifiers, we're going to have one or two big pro shows at the end of the year. So then in 2021, we're going to have it into the Olympia and such, Arnold and places like that. So
I know one of my questions was for, because now we're starting to get so many shows, to qualify for the Olympia. Now, do you feel like that's going to continue to grow, or will it stay about the same?
Well, I mean, it's not going to probably grow at leaps and bounds like it's done the first year. But again, continually we get people who want to put on events, and we're trying not to saturate certain areas. In Brazil, I'm kind of leaving it to someone like Tamer, who's running Brazil for us, to know how many shows that they can take down there, how many shows we need to have there. But right now, we have 22 events in Japan, regional shows and pro qualifiers. So we don't have as many pro qualifiers. We're starting more regional events. Kind of like I said, we built the NPC on the regional areas, feeding up into the pro qualifiers.
Nice. So we also were talking about the model athlete. There's a lot going on in this industry. So, for a young athlete that want to look up and say, okay, this is where I want to be when I get older, or as an athlete or a pro, or even an amateur, as I go up through the ranks and as I continue to work hard, what is the idea of what I want to make myself be,
Well, I mean, in each division, there's probably a lot of different athletes that you could say is ideal. But you got to remember, our sport's not exempt from what's going on as far as controversy, because in every sport, whether it's NFL, whether it's baseball, whatever, obviously we're part of it too. So we're going to obviously have little bumps in the road here and there. But I mean, if you're going to pick, let's just start with bodybuilding, which is our number one. To me, the most complete all-around athlete ever so far is Lee Haney. Not only has won 8-time Mr. Olympia, it's not just about winning the 8-time Mr. Olympia. Off stage, he's a champion. He's a real leader, does spiritual work, does work in the community. So to me, if I'm an athlete, even though Lee's not competing anymore, you got someone like Jay Cutler, who lives here in Las Vegas. Jay is still active, does contests, and a lot of our pro athletes are now getting contests named after him, amateur show. They're giving back. There's a lot of good athletes, and they're always going to have some people, like I said, whether it's in bodybuilding, fitness, physique, whatever, there's going to be problems. And that happens in every sport. I know in Pittsburgh,
very true.
We traded away probably the best running back and the best wide receiver in football because they were having problems in the organization. So that's just what it goes. But, there's a lot. You try to pick someone not just for what their physique are. You got to try to look into their background, what kind of family man they are, what kind of spiritual background they come from, whatever.
Yeah, I know a lot of people don't really realize that because, you know, I'm actually, we already discussed it, but I'm getting ready to retire. And, you know, it's that part of you being able to balance that, being a good person, you know, a man or a wife or a husband, and being an athlete, and, you know, carry on your regular life and still be great in the industry just as you are outside of the industry. They don't really think that matters until they start going through things. But we all have our ups and downs as well, you know. So,
not to interrupt you, but you're a prime example of something. You don't obviously have to be the top guy in your division. Okay, now someone like you, okay, maybe you never won Physique Olympia or something like that, but you're a prime example of what athletes coming up and want to get involved in our sport should look up to. It doesn't always have to be the number one guy. It can be other athletes who inspire you to train and get involved in that division, because you take, like I said yourself, you're a prime example. You're a family man, a military man, which we congratulate you on.
Thank you.
So, as an athlete, you got to be able to just say, well, I don't put him forward, this guy, that guy. Just look around for a while before you settle in on something.
The next thing I want to talk to you about is the Pittsburgh Pro and the New York Pro. Those are two of the biggest shows, and they're pretty much almost basically in your backyard. So, you know, a lot of people don't know. You know, I've told a lot of pros and a lot of athletes, hey, you need to travel. You need to get out there. I even brought one of my athletes out there last year. You know, I think a lot of people on the West Coast should know that, hey, it's good to go over there and be seen.
Absolutely.
And do the show. Like, it's an awesome show. You have any tips or advice that you wanted to give everybody for those that are looking at it?
Thank you for the plug on the Pittsburgh Pro, and obviously New York Pro is close to my heart. I work with Big Steve on that show. But you're right, athletes from the West Coast and the East Coast should go to each side. It's like doing our nationals in Miami and the USA are here in Vegas. So athletes can't just say, well, I'm just going to do the USA because I live in LA. Obviously, I can get on a plane. The same thing back east. So traveling around and going to these big events. I mean, my Pittsburgh show is like a fun show. I run an amateur part, which is great. But I have like 6 to 8 guest posers every year, and that's when all the pros are all happy. They're kind of out of shape. They're eating, drinking together, and then come September, nobody's talking to each other. You know? But it's a fun show to be around. You know.
But that's what makes it all worth it. You know, I've watched, you know, watched all the bodybuilder stuff off stage posing, and everybody was so excited, even the little kids. Even my son is like doing the same thing. He's trying to pose and stuff. So I think this is some awesome treat as well.
Yeah, every year we always seem to have somebody little comes up on the stage. You know, it's pretty cool.
Next it'll be mine.
All right, that's good.
So we're going to be leaving here soon.
Okay.
So what is your next move and your next step after the USAs?
After USA, I'm going over to LA. I have a few meetings over there with some people who we're actually working on something new. I'm trying to keep something fresh all the time for us. With all the new divisions, obviously that helps. Wellness is big. We're working on something now where we're going to be doing an app on the phone for registration.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
And you know, besides in the NPC and the Pro League, it's going to be for worldwide. So that's our next kind of big thing we're working on.
Yeah, NPC worldwide. I didn't really actually state it out there, but I've noticed it's been popping up on social media a lot. I've also tried to post about it and, you know, do as much as I could to support, you know, as well in this area. You want to tell everybody about it?
NPC USA has been around for years. Everybody knows what it is, but everybody's always wanted to be involved with NPC USA. Even before we kind of started going internationally. I don't want to get into any political things here because people like to talk. I had a split with them. They can say what they want. I just keep doing the right thing and try to do the right thing.
Yes,
but we want to bring the NPC style competition to the rest of the world because we are looked at as the #1 amateur organization in the world with the best athletes. So we want to give these athletes from around the world a chance to see how we run events and also for them a chance to turn pro and come into the professional league. So this is really working out fine.
Yeah, I think it's an awesome idea. Mr. Manion, is there anything you wanted to leave with everyone?
No, I just want to thank everybody. Obviously, I want to thank all the sponsors. You guys are new sponsors here. And, you know, all the contests need support from the sponsors. I mean, that's what makes shows run. I mean, everybody thinks it's an easy thing to run a contest. You can make all kind of money. But, you know, you can ask Tame or any promoter around. You have expenses, so sponsors are very important, and I, you know, appreciate all the athletes that support us and guys like you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right?
Appreciate it. Thank you for being here.
All right, my friend. Thank you.
And that's a wrap.